So it's two things from our list yesterday that we didn't finish or get to. We're going to do those today. Hello family, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I am Vicki and you're with Grammy in the Kitchen. So we made a to-do list yesterday. We did do a lot of it, but there were two things we did not finish nor get started. We're going to do that today, plus we're going to do other things. In the Instant Pot, I have 10 eggs. I am boiling those. I like doing them in the Instant Pot, hands off, don't have to do nothing with it. So 10 eggs in there with a little bit of water, and I hit the steam button for 6 minutes. Then when the timer is up, I let it sit in this Instant Pot for an additional 6 minutes to natural release. And after that time, I will do manual release. Put those eggs in some cold water for another 6 minutes, peel those, get in the refrigerator. The husband does take 2 hard-boiled eggs every day to work. That's why we have 10. So our bread came out beautiful. It took 40 minutes with the lid on, another 15 minutes with the lid off. I put a thermometer in there to get an internal temperature. Bread needs to be between 190 and 210 degrees. They registered at 200, so they're perfect. We need to cube those and get those toasted for our Thanksgiving dinner. And we never did get to the carrots. We're going to do those today. But dinner last night with the pizza, the breadsticks, and the wings, and then the applesauce cake was perfect. So this is the list from yesterday. I'm going to make a new list and update it for what we need to do today. So this is the list from yesterday. We did make the bread, but we didn't cube or toast it. So we got to do that today. And we did not do anything with those carrots. That's a must today. The list today. We're going to cube and toast that bread. I got the eggs in the Instant Pot now, so that's going to be one thing we can check off really quick. We're going to prepare our carrots for the freezer. I want to make some breakfast and lunch burritos to go in the freezer for quick, easy breakfast, lunch snacks with those tortillas that we got from Azure Standard. And then I need to do something with that chicken I took out of the freezer yesterday when we ended up having pizza. But the first thing we want to do is go ahead and get our bread cubed so we can get those in the oven to start toasting. All the bread pans are right there. I need to wash those and get that back into the pantry. So right here we have our two 2-pound loaves of bread and our 2 1-pound loaf of bread. I have the large baking sheet with parchment paper. We're going to cut these into cubes. Not sure how many sessions this is going to take, but we're going to get all of this bread toasted. So I'm cutting my slices about a 1/2 inch wide. So about a 1/2 inch cubes. Can you see that? It's just beautiful. Instant Pot with the eggs is done. I'm going to let it sit in there for another 6 minutes. And then we'll natural release the pressure. Oven is up to temperature. I have it at 200 degrees because we want to cook these low and slow. We don't want to burn them. This is the other 1 pound loaf. So I was able to get the 2 1 pound loaves on this baking sheet. We're going to put in the oven 200 degrees. Every 10-15 minutes we're going to give it a toss to make sure they're toasted and drying out evenly. Not sure how long it's going to take, but I'll keep track and let you know. Now while the bread is in the oven, we're going to get caught up on some dishes. The eggs will be ready for us to take out of the Instant Pot and get those soaking in cold water. We're going to peel those, stick them in the refrigerator. The eggs have been peeled. I got them in this bowl on some paper towels just to absorb the condensation. We're going to put a lid and then stick this in the refrigerator. The husband will grab 2 every day for work. The first set of bread is in the oven and it's been in there for 24 minutes. We haven't tossed them yet. We still have our 2 pound loaves left to cube and toast. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get started on the carrots. They have to be blanched for 1 minute and then moved into some cold water until they're completely cool. We have to dry them and put them on a baking sheet and stick those in the freezer because I want them to be individually frozen. I don't want them frozen into like a big clump. So I'll have to like lay them out and let them freeze individually, and then we'll stick them in Ziploc bags. This is our first bread. Oh, that's nowhere near ready. So I do want to give it a good toss. Make sure they're drying out evenly. Back in the oven. So I'm going to put the diced carrots in this bowl and the peeling in this bowl. I'll bring you right back as soon as we get them all peeled, and I'm starting to cube them up. And then we're still working on the bread, and I will let you know how long that takes. So the bread's been in the oven for 2 hours at 200 degrees. I did raise the temperature to 250. They're getting closer, but they're not quite there. They're still a little spongy, and I want them completely dry. This is going to take longer than I anticipated, but that's okay. So I went ahead and chopped all the carrots, cut them really small, probably 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. And then I have some that I cut into spears. I'm actually going to ferment these in a jar. These I need to blanch and get them in the freezer. So on the stove I have water coming up to a boil. We're going to process them in small batches. So we're going to boil them for 1 minute. And I have cold water in the sink. We're going to shock them in cold water. This is just cold tap water. We're going to leave them in there for about 5 to 10 minutes. And I have a towel to the left of the sink to put them after we strain them the second time from the cold water. The water is boiling. So we're going to go ahead and start adding our raw carrots. We're going to bring this back to a boil and boil it for 1 minute. The bread has been in the oven for 2.5 hours. They are ready. We'll go ahead and get the second batch in the oven. The water to the carrots are boiling. I'm going to give it 1 minute. We'll put it in the cold water to shock, cool it, stop the cooking process. Bring the water back to a boil and do another batch of carrots. So I have a bowl with the colander. Let's go ahead and get these carrots out. And we're going to add it to the cold water. And repeat the process. So the first batch is over here drying a bit. And we're just going to keep going until we run out of carrots. The second batch of bread's going in the oven. So I already have the small baking sheet with parchment paper with a couple rows of carrots already in the freezer. I have the pizza pan plus a cake pan. I need to get these in the freezer. Plus we already have 2 pounds of bread that we cubed, toasted for 2.5 hours. And I have the second batch in the oven right now. I have the third 2-pound loaf cut up in cubes right here, waiting to go in the oven. We're going to go ahead and get started on dinner. But before we do that, I need to go find room in the freezer. So we're going to turn that whole cut up chicken that we got on sale for Food Lion, I think 2 weeks ago, into fried chicken. So in this pan right here, I have about 7 russet potatoes cubed. We're going to make mashed potatoes. In the large cast iron skillet, I have some coconut oil melting to fry the chicken. And the reason I use coconut oil is because out of the 3 oils I keep in my house, avocado oil, olive oil, and coconut oil. Coconut oil is the cheapest. Yes, the coconut flavor will carry into the chicken, but that's okay. I'd rather have a good quality oil at a reasonable price. Coconut oil it is. So let me show you what we got going on the island. So for the egg wash, I got 4 eggs and a little bit of milk. In this pan, I have flour. We're going to add a good pinch of pepper, a good pinch of salt, a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder. This time I grabbed the right thing. This is the Italian dressing mix. And we'll add a couple tablespoons. Let's say 2 tablespoons. So this is the whole chicken we got. We cut it up together. We're going to put it in the flour mixture. Make sure it's well coated. Then we're going to put it in the egg mixture. And then back in the flour. And repeat the process. And I started off with 1.5 cups of flour. I don't know if I told you that. last piece. All right, let me clean up my station and then we'll move over to the stove. Let's go ahead and start adding our chicken to the hot oil. We're going to do half at a time. So we strained the water out of the potatoes. I'm going to add a half a stick of butter. We like butter. A good pinch of pepper. And salt. Just going to let that sit for a minute till that butter can melt. Just so it softens up a bit. Add some milk. So the mashed potatoes are done, the green beans on the stove. We just opened our last jar of home green beans with a little bit of salt and pepper and butter. Chicken is still in the oil, but you can't have mashed potatoes without gravy. So we're going to make gravy. So I have 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of flour. We're going to make a roux, and we're going to add some chicken stock, and then let it thicken up. If it's not thick enough, we can always make a cornstarch slurry. That's just cornstarch and water, and put it in there, and that will thicken it up. So I have a cornstarch slurry. I have 2 teaspoons of cornstarch to 1.5 teaspoons of water. I checked the gravy for salt and pepper, and it is perfect. Gravy's done. Burner off. Now we're just waiting on the chicken. So this is our dinner. We have mashed potatoes and gravy, some green beans, and some fried chicken. Let's taste this chicken. Remember, we used the Italian dressing mix. I'm pretty excited. Cooked to perfection. That is really good. I can tell you right now, the Colonel's chicken cannot touch this. You can taste all of the flavors from that Italian dressing mix. That's really good. That's a keeper. So the carrots that we diced up are in the freezer. I have not put those in bags yet. They're not frozen. But I want to go ahead and turn these spears into fermented carrots. So simple. 2 ingredients, water and salt, plus your vegetables. So I don't know how many jars I'm going to be able to get from this. I brought 3 wide mouth quart mason jars just in case. So one I have filled up with filtered water. I'm using the Berkey water. You need a non-iodide salt. I'm using Redmond's Real Salt. I'm putting 4 teaspoons of salt in a quart-sized jar. We need to shake this until the salt dissolves. I already did a pint, and as you can tell, Redmond's Real Salt does not dissolve all the way, but it's okay. This pint has been sitting here for about 30 minutes and it still hasn't dissolved, but the water is salty. Just go ahead and pack our quarts. with our peeled, rinsed carrots. Now you can flavor it any way you like. You could put crushed garlic cloves in here, fresh herbs, doesn't matter. I'm just doing a basic salt brine fermented carrots. I was able to harvest 4 jalapenos before the first frost. So I'm just going to slice these up into small slices. I'm leaving the seeds in. You can remove the seeds if you like. So I'm going to put half in one jar and half in the other jar. So I have a glass weight. I'm just going to put right on top. As the carrots will ferment in this salt water, you'll start seeing little bubbles in here. We need to make sure we open this lid and burp it every day. So we just want to open it. If the canning lid sealed, we want to make sure we lift that. And then put the ring back on it. And every day we need to make sure we burp this. It should take about 2 weeks for it to be fully fermented. Once that happens, we'll put it in the refrigerator. And the way you could tell if it's fermented is when you open it up to burp it, you start smelling that sour pickling smell, kind of like sauerkraut, because this is basically sauerkraut for carrots. But you'll start smelling that vinegary fermented smell. You can leave it on your counter until it reaches to the smell that you like or the taste you like. Then you can put it in the refrigerator and that will stop the fermentation from going further. We're going to leave it on the counter for 2 weeks, burping every day. Check to see if it's where we want it, then we'll stick it in the refrigerator. But that's how easy it is to ferment vegetables. Just a simple salt brine. And we ended up with 3 bags of our bread cubes. I'm going to take 1.5 of this to North Carolina for our Thanksgiving with the kids. And the other 1.5 bags we're going to leave here for our Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving Day. We have 2 quart-sized jars of garlic spears with some homegrown jalapenos. We're going to let this ferment, burping it every day, just removing the lid, Let any air bubbles in there escape so we don't have an explosion from the fermentation part of it. But this is going to take 2 weeks. After that, we'll stick it in the refrigerator. Here's 1 bag of our carrots. So the other carrots are still in the deep freezer, waiting for those to freeze up solid so that we can put those in Ziploc bags too. And as for our list, so we got our bread cubed and toasted, done. We made the hard-boiled eggs for the husband for work, done. We prepared and froze our carrots, done. And we definitely did something with that chicken, done. The only thing we did not do, which is fine because it was just going to be freezer food anyway, was the breakfast/lunch videos. The tortillas are still in the freezer. They'll fine in there. We'll deal with it when we get there. But I just want to say thank you very much for hanging out with me in the kitchen today while we got our bread that we made yesterday into cubes to get ready for the side dishes for Thanksgiving. We were able to process our half of that 25-pound bag of carrots. We got them in the freezer for quick, easy carrots, diced, blanched, frozen. And we were able to make some homemade fermented carrots for future. Plus, we were able to make a delicious fried chicken with mashed potatoes and gravy and some green beans. It was an awesome day. I want to say thank you very much for hanging out with me in the kitchen. Right over here, you're going to see 2 videos. Please check those out until the next upload. They were either going to inspire you to get in your kitchen, make a to-do list. Hopefully you get it all done. If not, it's okay. It is fine. Move on, and we'll continue this the next day. They're either going to inspire you or give you a chuckle. Either one, I'm fine. And until next time, y'all have a blessed day. Bye, family.